My name is Jake and I am 34 years old. I have one brother, Eric, who is 29. Until recently, I thought we had a normal family with normal family issues. Nothing perfect, but nothing particularly terrible either. My parents are in their early 60s, still working and generally healthy. For the past 5 years, I've been helping my parents financially. It started when Dad lost his job during company downsizing. They were struggling to make ends meet, so I stepped in to help with their mortgage payments. Even after Dad found a new job, it paid less than his previous position, so I continued covering part of their mortgage and occasionally helped with utility bills and unexpected expenses. I make decent money as a software developer, but I'm by no means wealthy. I've had to budget carefully to help them, sometimes putting my own financial goals on hold. I've delayed buying a house of my own and cut back on my retirement contributions. Meanwhile, my brother Eric has never contributed a dime to help our parents. He always has excuses about being tight on money, though he seems to have plenty for vacations and a new car. Despite this imbalance, I never complained. These are my parents, and I was raised to believe family helps family. I figured they needed the help, and I was in a position to provide it. Everything changed 3 weeks ago. I was at my parents' house helping my dad scan some documents for his tax return. He had a large stack of papers that needed organizing and digitizing. While going through them, I came across a folder labeled Estate Plan and Last Will and Testament. I wasn't snooping. The folder was right there in the stack of papers I was scanning. I opened it, assuming I should scan these documents too. That's when I saw it. My parents' will left everything to Eric. The house, their savings, their investments, all of it. There was a brief mention of me in the will, saying they loved both their sons equally, but that was it. No inheritance, nothing. I was stunned. Here I was, helping them pay their mortgage on a house that would eventually go entirely to my brother. I'd been supporting them financially for years while they secretly planned to leave everything to Eric. I confronted my dad immediately. When I showed him the will and asked for an explanation, he looked uncomfortable but not particularly apologetic. "Jake, it's complicated," he said. I pressed for more, and my mom joined the conversation. Her explanation was even more hurtful. "Honey, you don't need the inheritance," she said. "You have a good job, you're independent. Eric struggles more. We just want to make sure he's taken care of." I was speechless. Yes, I have a good job, but that's because I worked hard for it. And the reason I don't have much saved is partly because I've been helping them for years. Meanwhile, Eric struggles because he makes poor financial choices, not because he's disadvantaged in any way. I asked if they had ever considered how their decision might make me feel, especially given how much I've helped them. They didn't have a good answer for that. I left their house that day feeling betrayed and used. When I got home, I made a decision. I texted them saying that since they had made their priorities clear, I would no longer be helping them financially. They had chosen Eric as their financial beneficiary, so he could be their financial support as well. The response was immediate. My dad called, then my mom, then my dad again. I didn't answer. Then the texts started. "The property taxes are due," my dad texted. No greeting, no acknowledgement of our conversation, just a reminder of a bill I usually helped pay. I replied, "I'm sure Eric will handle it since the house will be his anyway." My mom texted next. "Jake, please don't be like this. We need to talk." I waited an hour before responding. "There's nothing to talk about. You made your choice, now you can live with it." Then Eric got involved. "Dude, why are you being such a drama queen? Just help them out like you always do." I was livid. "No," I replied. "I think you've got it covered since you're the favorite." Eric texted back, "Oh my God, are you seriously mad about the will? Grow up, man, it's just money." "Then you won't mind using some of that future money to pay for their expenses now, right?" I shot back. He didn't respond to that. My mom tried again with a guilt trip. "Jake, we're your parents. Family takes care of each other. We did so much for you growing up, and now you're abandoning us?" That really got to me. Abandoning them? I had spent years making sure they never had to struggle, all while they were planning to cut me out of their will. I responded, "You made it clear I wasn't really part of the family when you left me out of the will. Now, Eric can take care of you." A few more texts came through, all trying to make me feel guilty or selfish. My dad even texted, "We're not asking for much, just enough to cover the mortgage for a few more months until we figure things out. Don't be selfish." I turned off my phone. The next day, my mom sent a bank transfer request for $3,500, the exact amount they needed for their overdue mortgage. No message, no explanation, just a demand for money. I declined it immediately. When my mom called to ask why I had declined the request, I simply said, "Because it's not my responsibility anymore. Try Eric." It's been a few weeks now. My parents are still sending messages about bills they can't pay. They've enlisted other family members to pressure me, telling them I've suddenly abandoned my familial duties for no reason. Of course, they haven't mentioned the will to anyone. My uncle called me yesterday to say I was being cruel to my elderly parents. When I explained the situation, he was silent for a moment, then said, "Well, it's still their money to do with as they please." He didn't address the hypocrisy of expecting me to continue financial support while they planned to leave me nothing. Only my girlfriend fully supports my decision. She's witnessed how much I've sacrificed to help my parents over the years and was shocked by their lack of appreciation or consideration. I'm starting to wonder if I've gone too far. Yes, I was hurt by the will, but maybe cutting them off financially without warning was an overreaction. They are my parents, after all. But then I think about how they never once considered my feelings before making their estate plans. They never acknowledged all I've done for them. They just expected me to keep giving without ever getting anything in return, not even gratitude. So, am I the jerk for cutting off my parents after discovering they left me out of their will?